So let us now have the questions about the activity. And for the first question, did you enjoy the previous activities? How did it help you in retaining the information about the topic? Anyone who wants to answer? Mm, let's have Jonathan.
Sir, I enjoyed our previous activity. It was fun. Um, it also helped me in retaining information through teaching or reciting what I have learned. Sharing newly acquired knowledge to other people is a big help in maintaining the knowledge we just have acquired.
Wow. That's a very informative and detailed answer, Jonathan. I'm very impressed. Very good. And for the second question, what could be the
Thank you, sir.
importance of... You're welcome. And for the second question, what could be the importance of knowing our poet's life? Let's have Crescely.
Sir, poetry has always been a part of human life. It is an art that lies in the soul and spirit of man since the beginning of time. A poet writes always of his personal life and experiences. He writes because he has an indispensable desire in his heart to express his ideas, to um, objectify his poetic philosophy about life. That could be the reason why we need to be informed of their lives, sir.
Wow, another very impressive answer from the class. Very good, Crescely. And for the third question, what is or are the relevance of writing literary pieces in our lives? Let's have Isabel.
Sir, literature allows a person to step back in time and learn about life on Earth from the ones who walked before us. We can gather a better understanding of culture and have a greater appreciation of them. Um, we learn through the ways history is recorded in the forms of manuscripts and through speech itself, sir.
Excellent. That is a very good answer. Great job, Isabel. And for the fourth question, what are the lessons that you have learned regarding our topic? Let's have RV.
Hi, sir. It is not about the topic, sir, but about the activity. We all know that some students are afraid to talk during a class session, and I learned that teachers should challenge their students beyond their comfort zone so that they will be able to share something in class and they will become better than their previous selves.
Very good, RV. That realization is a really great point, and thank you for your answer. And for our last question, how can you apply the lesson or lessons in your daily life? Um, let's have Miss Marielle. I think Marielle has a poor connection, so let's have Justin.
Sir, the lesson or realization that RV has stated such an important and that it is impossible
I'm sorry, Justin. I think Justin is a very poor connection, but she was able to answer the question. And congratulations for answering the question. You did a very great job, and that's appreciated. And now, who is Francisco Balagtas? So, we will answer this after our discussion. And now, let's move on to our learning objectives. Anyone from the group who wants to read the learning objectives? So, let's have Jonathan.
Learning objectives. So at the end of the lesson, the students are expected to A. Demonstrate understanding about the lesson. B. Formulate life lessons from the presented topic. And C. Give importance to the life of Francisco Balagtas.
Thank you, Jonathan. So, what we'll discuss? Francisco Balagtas's early life, awards and titles, life as a poet, and legacy. So, there. Let's talk about his biography. Oh, I wasn't able to add biography. Francisco Balagtas y de la Cruz, known much more widely through his nom de plume, Francisco Balagtas, was a prominent Filipino poet and is widely considered as the Tagalog equivalent of William Shakespeare for his impact on Filipino literature. The famous epic Florante at Laura is regarded as his defining work. And now, to the next slide is his RV.
Early life, sir.
Yes, his early life. Thank you, RV. Francisco Baltazar was born in Barrio Panginay, Bigaan, Bulacan as the youngest of the four children of Juan Baltazar, a blacksmith, and Juana de la Cruz. He studied in a parochial school in Bigaa and later in Manila. During his childhood years, Francisco later worked as houseboy in Tondo, Manila. And our next slide is his Justin.
Sir, life as a poet.
Yes, very good, Justin. His life as a poet. Balagtas learned to write poetry from Jose de la Cruz, also known as Huseng Sisiu, one of the most famous poets of Tondo. It was de la Cruz himself who personally challenged Balagtas to improve his writing. He wrote his poems in Tagalog during an age when Filipino writing was predominantly written in Spanish. Balagtas published Florante at Laura upon his release in 1838. He moved to Balanga, Bataan in 1840 where he served as the assistant to the Justice of Peace and later in 1856 as the major lieutenant. He was also appointed as the translator of the court. He married Juana Chambeng on July 22, 1848 in a ceremony officiated by Father Cayetano Arellano, uncle of future Philippine Supreme Court Chief Justice Cayetano Arellano. They had 11 children, but only four survived to adulthood. He died on February 20, 1862, at the age of 73. Upon his deathbed, he asked a favor that none of his children become poets like him, who had suffered under his gift as well as under others. He even went as far as to tell them it would be better to cut their hands off than let them be writers. Balagtas is so greatly revered in the Philippines that the term for Filipino debate in extemporaneous verse is named for him, Balagtasan. And that is about his life and title. And our next slide is Miss Cressley.
His legacy, sir.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Miss Cressley. So, do you know something about his legacy? Anyone from the group? None? So, let me tell you about his legacy. An elementary school was created in honor of Balagtas, the Francisco Balagtas Elementary School, or FBES, located along Alvarez Street in Santa Cruz, Manila. There is also a plaza and park, Plaza Balagtas, erected in Pandacan, Manila, while most of the streets were named after various Florante at Laura characters in honor of Francisco Balagtas. His birthplace, Bigaa, Bulacan, was renamed to Balagtas, Bulacan in honor of him. So that is our discussion about Francisco Balagtas. And to our next slide is our application. Now, let's have the application. And here is our post-discussion activity. Number one, what is the importance of studying the life of Francisco Balagtas in our lives as Filipinos or as individuals? Please answer it in just a sentence or two. I will give you 3 minutes to answer the activity. Write it in a 1/4 sheet of paper. So start writing your answers. You'll be stopped answering at 11:52. I mean 12:02. I'm sorry. Are you done with your activity, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. Take a picture of your answer and turn it in our Google Classroom later. So now let's move on to our 21st slide, the generalization. Generalization. Okay, let's go back to our generalization. There. For our generalization, you will be answering the two questions. Let us start with the first question. Number one, how did the lesson influence you as a person? Or how did it influence you generally? Anyone who wants to answer?
Me,
Mr.
sir.
RV. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
What people write can offer education and wisdom to others. There are so many books that offer such riches in terms of knowledge, wisdom, and inspiration. Within the words of another, we can learn how to speak another language, how to communicate with people better, and thus improve our relationships as a result. Writers have the power to
Mm.
influence others with their words, and their messages can inspire, motivate, persuade, and touch our hearts as readers. Writers' words can push people to take action and inspire them to change their lives and the world.
Very good, RV. That is a very impressive answer. So let us now move on to question number two. Francisco Balagtas will always be remembered because of his works. And how would you want to be remembered? Let's have Isabel.
Sir, can you repeat the question, sir?
Francisco Balagtas will always be remembered because of his works. How would you want to be remembered?
Sir, for me as a human, a daughter, a sister, and a friend, I want to be remembered as a calm, kind, generous, and loving soul who reminds you of the joy of being alive. And I want to be remembered as someone who was a pleasure to be around. Um, I
Mhm.
want to be remembered by my kind, loving heart, sweet personality, nice domineer, creative mind, and love for the environment and creatures on it. So I also want to be remembered by my great fashion sense and sense of humor. That's all, sir.
Very good, Isabel. Thank you for your answer. And those who were not able to answer the two questions will just send their answers in our Google Classroom. You can encode your answers in Microsoft Word or write it on any clean piece of paper. Take a picture of it, then turn it in. Those two students who just answered the questions will automatically be given perfect scores. Congratulations, Arvi and Isabel.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, and congratulations also to the rest of the class because you attended the class, answered some of the questions, and listened. Thank you for your participation. And for your assignment, read Balagtas's story, Florante at Laura, for our future lesson. And our next slide is thank you. Okay, thank you for listening. So that
Thank you,
ends our
sir.
lesson. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
sir.